This weekend, guys, Setram is making his grand entrance with a boosted weight up banner in Watchers of Realms. But the thing is, don't let his sleek robotic design fool you. This high-tech sharpshooter is all about the maximum burst damage, taking out enemies from a distance with deadly precision. If your team has ever struggled against shielded enemies, Setram's got the answers with his unique passive that absolutely shreds through defenses.
Oh, say less.
With his long-range attacks and the multi-strike capabilities, he's more than just a champion. He's a walking, talking DPS machine. Ready to unlock his full potential? Stick around because I'm about to show you how to turn your Setram into the next MVP. Alright guys, let's power up and get ready because today we're turning Setram, the Guardian of Enigmas, into your team's ultimate destruction unit. Whether you've already summoned this walking war machine or if you're aiming to pick him up during the boosted weight up banner this weekend, this video is your one-stop guide to maximizing Setram's potential. In today's video, we're going to break down why Setram is such a powerhouse, the best gear sets for him, and the stats to push his damage to the max. Not only that guys, we're going to go over the top artifact to amplify his strengths, and finally, the best content areas where Setram truly dominates. Oh guys, and remember, if you're worried about turning this robotic juggernaut into a damage dealing disaster, don't be, because after this guide, the only error you see is your enemies crashing and burning. Let's get into it guys. Now, let's break down why Setram is an absolute force to be working with on the battlefield. Starting with his talent, every time Setram attacks, he has a 20% chance to unleash a devastating fist that not only deals 140% damage, but also stuns the target. Stuns enemies are completely immobilized, leaving them as sitting ducks for Setram's relentless firepower. And here's the kicker, the fewer enemies in the range, the more damage this skill dishes out, up to an extra 20%. So guys, if you're focusing down on a single target, prepare to see some massive damage numbers. His basic attack is simple but effective, dealing a solid 120% damage to a single enemy, but it's his passive that truly starts turning the tide of battle. Devastation cranks up all the damage by 15%, and shielded enemies take a whopping 50% extra damage. Setram was literally built to tear through any opponent foolish enough to hide behind the shield. And it gets even crazier guys. With Annihilation, Setram's damage ramps up the longer he focuses on one enemy. Every time he hits the same target, his crit rate and crit damage increases, stacking up to an insane 22 times. The longer he stays locked in, the deadlier he becomes, turning him into a single target burst damage machine that just keeps growing stronger. But the real game changer guys is his ultimate Fortress stance. Once activated, Setram switches into this stance for 15 seconds, increasing his attack range and constantly bombarding targets with a barrage of attacks. And if that wasn't enough, his attack speed keeps increasing the longer he fires, leading to an overloaded state where Setram's damage explodes by 70%. But there's actually a trade-off guys. After unleashing his massive burst, Setram will enter a brief worn out state. However, don't worry too much, his self-repair kicks in after 8 seconds, bringing him back online for even more chaos. When it comes to damage, control, and sheer overwhelming firepower, Setram is unmatched. His ability to melt through shields, stack critical hits like crazy, and unleash continuous, high-speed attacks with his ultimate makes him a terrifying marksman. Setram isn't just strong, he's an unstoppable war machine that can dominate the battlefield with a terrifying precision. In the hands of the right player, Setram will leave nothing but destruction in his wake. Get ready guys to watch your enemies falls apart under the weight of Setram's relentless barrage. Now that we've covered why Setram is such a beast, let's dive into the best gear sets and stats to turn this mechanical menace into a complete powerhouse. First up guys, the left hand side for Setram's armor and weapon, there's no better choice than the Warlord set. This set is hands down the best for maximizing his damage potential with a massive 25% attack boost and an additional 30 attack speed. Setram becomes a relentless damage dealing machine, especially when you're pushing his ultimate fortress stance to its limits. If you're still farming for Warlord gear, the Calamity set is another strong option. It also gives you a 25% attack, which keeps his damage output high. And for those of you who are looking to crank up Setram's critical hits, the Wicked Vengeance set is a great backup, offering 40% crit damage along with a 10% attack. Perfect for the single target burst damage playstyle. Next, let's talk about the accessories. These are the key to making Setram even more lethal. Ranked from the strongest to the weakest, the best choice here is Inferno Roar. It amplifies basic attack damage by 40%, which directly boosts Setram's primary source of consistent damage. And if you're unleashing those basic attack regularly, this set will push your damage output through the roof. A close second is the Soulbound Arcana set. After casting the ultimate, it permanently increases Setram's damage by 10%. Stacking up to 5 times, this is a great option for long fights where you want to scale your damage over time. Finally guys, there's Ageless Wrath. While it's not as strong as the others, it still packs a punch with the 30% crit damage, and it stacks an additional 1% crit damage every time Setram lands a crit. Up to 30 times everybody, so in fights where Setram can stay on the offensive, this can quickly ramp up his burst potential. And as for substats guys, here's what you want to prioritize. Attack percentage to maximize the damage output, attack speed to capitalize on his multi-strike potential, crit damage to enhance those deadly crits, crit rate to make sure those crits lands consistently, and finally, rage regen to help you power up your Setram ultimate as often as possible. With these gear set and stats, you have Setram dishing out an insane amount of damage, hitting fast, hard, and often. Stack those crits, boost the attack speed, and let this robotic enigma tear through the enemies with a relentless efficiency. Alright guys, now that we've got Setram's gear all set up now, let's talk about the cherry on the top, the best artifacts to take his power to the next level. Starting with the absolute best option, you want to aim for Setram's exclusive artifact, the Oblivion Pendant. This artifact is tailor-made for Setram playstyle. It increases the duration of his ultimate by an extra 5 seconds, allowing him to stay in his fortress stance longer and dish out more consistent damage. Plus guys, it also extends his self-repair duration by 5 seconds, giving him an extra bit of survivability during those intense fights. If you have this, there's no question, it's the go-to. But hey, if you guys don't have this exclusive artifact just yet, don't worry, because Spirit Siphon is an excellent alternative. This artifact boosts the damage output to the same target by 5% with each consecutive hit, stacking up to 3 times. Since Setram dives on the single target's destruction, this will help ramp up his damage even more. Just be mindful though guys, if you switch target, you lose the bonus. So stick to your target and watch those damage number soar. And of course guys, for those in early game, if you guys don't have either of these top tier artifacts, Edriel Gaze, a legendary artifact, can still do the job. It gives a 15% chance to ignore 30% of the target's defense and magic resistance when you land a crit. This is a solid option to help pierce through tanky enemies and deal more raw damage, especially if you're working with crit heavy builds. So, whether you're rocking Setram's exclusive Oblivion Pendant, stacking consistent damage with Spirit Siphon, or slicing through defenses with Edriel's Gaze, these artifacts will supercharge his abilities. Just slap one of these on him and your enemies will be scrambling to keep up with the onslaught. Now that we've decked Setram out guys with the best gear and artifacts, let's talk about where this mechanical monster truly shines in the game. Setram isn't just good, he's an absolute beast in several keys area. First off, everybody, Setram is a Guild Boss 1 Slayer. His passive, which deals extra damage to shielded enemies, lines up perfectly with the dragon's mechanics. Since breaking the dragon shield is crucial to surviving those one-shot hits and maximizing the damage, Setram becomes a must-have. The longer he focuses on the boss, the more his damage ramps up, turning him into a single target powerhouse. Plus, everybody, his faction, the Infernal Blast, is already strong in this fight, making Setram an ideal choice for taking down the dragon. Next, everybody, we've got Gear Raid 3. Setram's high burst damage makes him a prime pick for taking down the boss in those tougher, higher stages. Sure guys, his cost is a bit high at 20 compared to a cheaper alternative like Silas, but if you guys got the cost, Setram will deliver major damage. His raw firepower more makes up for that cost. And let's not forget about the Immortal Codex, guys, especially the Lord of Sticks. Setram's ability to shred through the shield is invaluable here. When timed right, his ultimate can help your team dismantle the boss shield every time it goes up, preventing devastating attacks and letting your squad land heavy hits. Keep his ultimate in sync with the boss shield, guys, and you're gonna be tearing through sticks like a pro. Beyond these, everybody, Setram's versatility means he's also great in content like Campaign, Faction Trials, and even Void Rift. No matter where you take him, Setram is a reliable hero who brings the heat. In short, everybody, whether you're facing against powerful bosses or taking on tough raids, Setram is your go-to marksman for tearing down shields and dishing out devastating damage. So there you have it, guys. We've broken down everything you needed to know about turning Setram, the Guardian of Enigmas, into an unstoppable damage-dealing machine. From his insane multi-strike attacks and his shield-breaking passive to the best gear sets, artifacts, and the content where he dominates, it's clear that Setram is a marksman you don't want to miss out on. Whether you're facing off against Guild Boss 1, climbing the toughest stages of Gear Raid 3, or breaking through shields with the Lord of Sticks fight, Setram will be the key to unlocking those huge damage numbers. We have gone over the gear, the stats, and the artifacts, and the best place to deploy him. So now all that's left is to wish you guys the best of luck summoning for this absolute beast this weekend. Trust me guys, when Setram enters your team, your enemies won't know what hit them. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you guys found this guide helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Watches Realms content. You guys are great, you guys are amazing, you guys are awesome as always. Until next time guys, let's all strive to become better every single day, and yeah, peace!